Hello, and welcome to the Jolamade Blend with JP and friends. This is episode number 2 here. I skipped last week just due to the holiday here. I wasn't really around. Um, I still haven't really been posting much on Jolamade.com, but I guess towards the end of last week I had posted at least an idea as far as what I was looking to do for covering topics here for this week. And I have no idea how long this is gonna take, but I'm gonna basically go over the meanings, of the lyrics for the TRILOGIES EP 2, and I just wrote number 3 actually on during New Year's Day, New Year's night. I wrote the lyrics for EP number 3 already, which that's going to be released, if all goes well, the same day as, it'll be June 9th, the same day I did the first EP, but it'll be 2014. And then after that I'll start working on the full-length albums with doing the trilogies for each category there. At least that's a goal for right now. That's the plan. We'll see if how well I stick to that here, but like I said last week, as of this point, I really have the next 24 years creatively of my life planned out. At least an overview of what I'm looking to accomplish. I think one of the main reasons, thinking back on why I wanted to do that, is one I always loved it. I love staying busy. I love having an agenda in front of me. It just helps me to stay motivated rather than having even starting with a clean slate. That can be a little nerve-wracking to just be staring at a blank piece of paper as far as not really sure where the heck you're going. But let's I'll jump right into this here and start covering. I don't, like I said, I hope anybody that listens to both the EP, any of these EPs, more or less so, I guess the first one, because that was kind of a story more so than anything personally related to me. So I guess on that level. But with the second one and this third one here that I wrote, there, a lot of the lyrics are pretty close to me, from a personal relationship with the lyrics and the meanings. But I hope people that listen to them have formed their own opinions before they would listen to my meanings here, and get their own interpretations before seeing what my interpretations of my own songs would be. I hope that's what people do for any of the releases that I have, even with the different writings that I plan to release before. What I love to do for like reading a book or movie, like I don't even personally I don't read the reviews at all until I'm finished, and I can form my own opinion and then just relate to see, like, oh yeah, I maybe I overlooked that, or you get different ideas of reading. Obviously, you get different ideas of reading other people's opinions on a piece of art or work, but I think it's important to be able to form your own before kind of being force-fed what other people are leading you up to believe before you jump into it yourself. Just go in with it with an open mind. Ah, shit. I just opened up something I didn't mean to. Okay, I'll just read through I'll read through the lyrics for each of these, and I'll just I'll go down by the list too. Like I said, I have no idea how long this is gonna take. I've got a few topics that I'm hoping to cover here. I don't know, I know a lot of podcasts have like a theme song and shit. So I don't know. In order to become a little bit more professional, maybe I should start adding a few things like that. But what I was starting to say was, I don't know if there's any. I don't want to just be rambling, kind of like I did last week, just to have space being filled to fill the 48 minutes that I'm hoping to have for each of these. So I don't know. I might have just like instrumental pieces that I'm working on, just thrown in there at the end or whatever. Because I'd rather have that than just talking about different bullshit that I didn't have planned for. Kind of like what I'm doing right now. But anyway, yes. You'll hear that a lot from me. I'll start going off topic on something, lose myself on that for a while. But I digress on that. But alright, the first song for the Trilogies EP number 2 was Night. And it goes, as the light of day begins to fade away, I begin to fear what I know is about to come. For when it's time to lay my head down to rest, my demons come along chasing me into the night. I guess I should point out again that each of these songs followed the 8 categories when I started on the first EP, which, let's see if I can remember this. It starts with depersonalization disorder, science, science, psychology, religion, politics, history, and then art, and then like anything creative, I guess. Those are the 8 categories I kind of lined out for myself. And so like that's when I get into the full lengths, that's like what the entire album will focus on. Like with these EPs, I was just trying to get a frame of reference, I guess, like getting my juices flowing, so to speak, on like these on these different categories. So that's what each of these songs, they represent, like this category. So I was trying, there's like no concept, I guess, behind like these. Well, there is, but like as far as like directly on the lyrics, there's no concept like what I was going with. It's just their themes. They're basically they're based on these 8 trilogies. They're based on these 8 categories that I'm looking to do here. But with these themes, like with these 4 releases, like they'll be concept. Each of them will basically be a concept album, so to speak, based on, well, not even the concept album. They'll be more themed, like, but the entire album will be based on that particular theme for each of these categories. I hope that makes sense. But that that was one of the more personal songs, I guess, that I wrote on this latest attempt for my for this EP here. I really that goes along with that depersonalization disorder, which I've had for which goes in the next song. I've had that for over 10 years. I mean, I've found different ways to cope with it, and it's gotten a lot easier. But there are times where it still sucks, particularly at night, which is why the song's called Night. It seems that's when I have, and that's another reason why I love to stay busy. Like that way, I can't like even focus on any of the memories that I have tied to this disorder, or like anything that will be like triggered back to different moments or memories that I'd rather forget. But when I'm just laying in bed, like that's when all this shit just comes to me. It kind of sucks. So that's probably the hardest part of my day usually. That, and for some reason I've noticed right around lunch, like that's another really bad time with this disorder kicking in. But night, that basically just sums up kind of how I feel. Most, like I said, I've gotten better with it. I've learned to cope with it most of the time. But at night, sometimes it gets pretty unbearable, and I just literally have to stay up until like I pass out, like just from exhaustion of staying up so late. So that's what night basically is, just summing up the fact that really I guess I used to have sleep deprivation pretty severely, like to the point where I was almost hospitalized a few years ago. I was going through depression and shit with this. I guess really with the main thing being because of this disorder and not knowing what the hell is even fucking going on with me, thinking I was going like criminally insane there. But I literally used to like be able to close, trying to even shut my eyes. I would be seeing like these, almost like the Rorschach images, like just flashing in my eyes. Like literally just different like ink blots would be flashing. Why my eyes are closed. So that was some pretty scary stuff. I would see flashes of light. I would see moving pictures, but everything it would all be with like the white flashes and then just like the black images in front of it. So I guess that's what I'm referring to the demons, because I don't really believe in heaven or hell, but that's to me that's what these demons are that are chasing me into the night. Luckily, I'm over that now, but as far as seeing these crazy like flashbacks almost, but there's still moments where, like I said, it gets pretty tough to be able to even fall asleep. Something that most people, I don't know anymore, most people, but a lot of people take for granted. So I think I covered night pretty well in full detail. I'm gonna be trying to. All right. Well, yeah, I'm gonna be trying to cover 16 songs here, so this might take up most of my schedule for this episode. But anyhow, I kind of already mentioned Decade song 2 off this. It says, a decade ago, we almost lost everything. Our world was falling apart to pieces, laying scattered and thrown onto the floor, as you often would do the same. Thank you for crying out. We finally found you, so now we could save you from drowning by the bottom. But I don't know how much detail I want to go into this one, because that's really, I guess that was the most personal song on this EP. A lot of that dealt with my father, and our one vacation up in Canada, which I guess that would have been like 11 years ago, when before when all this shit hit the fan here in our family, I guess. And that like I said, that was a pretty personal one for me. Basically, the main thing about that song, my father was celebrating 10 years sobriety this past July, I believe, and that's I wrote that song shortly after that. So this one's that one's for you, Dad. I don't, like I said, there's not much else to really. I don't know if not that I'm not comfortable, but I'll save that for another day going in. Like, I have ideas that I'll be delving deeper into the whole vacation up in Canada, up in Niagara Falls there, where everything was a vacation from hell. No offense to Canada or Canadians. I love Canada. We were there before, and it was an awesome vacation. So we were hoping the same for the second time around, but that was not at all the case. So track 3, that was called Fruition. That's for many years now in my life. I have had many thoughts come and go without giving them any second thought. No longer will I ignore my divine interventions as my past ideas and my future come to fruition. Basically, this, like, I've had, it's pretty straightforward, this one. I just, even before I started, like, with ADP and all, like, Jolamade and everything, that it's taking up my time now, and hopefully becomes a career for me someday, a profession. I never thought my ideas were good enough. Like, I don't know, I always was making excuses not to act upon them. Even though for, like, some of them, they would almost seem like visions. Like, I don't know, not to sound crazy, but they would just seem so clear to me. Like, I would get the full idea without even having to place any, without even to have to put any pieces together. Like, everything would just seem to fit right away. Excuse me for some of these ideas I had. And so I guess I finally took some time to write about it. And the particular lyric with my past ideas, my future come to fruition, that's kind of that's a play on some future songs I have in mind, as far as with reincarnation, like literally meaning like past ideas and past lives are now of my future are coming, they're coming true, they're becoming a reality. So that was probably the most straightforward song on this this EP. I was really happy with how that song came out, particularly with the music behind it. The opening, I was really happy with how that like opening riffage started out, I guess, on that. Number 4, this is a track called Ceremony. Oh, Lucifer effect, don't feel me now. It's just another basic instinct of our human nature. Oh, join me in this global ceremony as we unite together, good and evil. Really, like I said, sometimes like lyrics, they just come to me like right away. Like I don't have to put any thought at all like into them. That was the case with this song. I think literally as quick as I was able to write, that's what came out. Like I just wrote what, not even, I guess it was really just going on my instincts off this, but I started reading a book I bought probably 5 years ago called Lucifer Effect. I don't recall the author, unfortunately, right now, but even just rereading the back cover, and just knowing what the book was about, that gave me the whole inspiration for the song, which is, this is it's basically, it's another straightforward song too, which I guess most of these were. Yeah, most of these were on this EP. I tried to have some more like analogies on my third attempt here, which is, I think that's the direction I'm looking to go with future albums, but I don't know. I'm not there yet, so I'll figure that out when I get there. But it's basically just the Lucifer effect is more or less paraphrasing. It's saying that even the goodness of man can become corrupt by evil, without much effort. It won't take much, as pure as man could have ever been. There was always gonna be the contrast of good and evil. So that's kind of what this was, and a lot of this, like I said, since this was religion with the category, I was the whole celebrating the global ceremony, like the uniting good and evil. That was my way of saying, I guess, just really, yeah, just good and evil, with where morality is and where ethics stand, in the world as a whole right now. It seems like it's either one extreme or the other. Like I don't know. It's just it's not good. It's not good at all. What I'm reading about on around the world. I'm sure this is most people would agree. All right. Track 5 was called Signs. That was based on the politics. A lot of that was when the whole like Syrian chemical weapon, their whole civil war crisis was like really heated, when we started sending when we were getting close to basically declare war on Syria. It just seems like there was a lot of things where the U.S. sticks their nose where maybe they shouldn't. So this is just my take on that. Like, it seems like there's so many, just like the song said, there's so many signs that we seem to either ignore or just pretend that they're not even, that there isn't any, that there isn't any at all. And that's not good either. That is not good. But they're right there in front of you. They've been staring you in the face for years, but still you neglect to take any action. It's time to acknowledge all the warning signs before it's too late. And like I said, I was inspired by the whole Syrian conflict, but this goes like with everything, with all the wars that the U.S. has been involved in, and really a lot of it just goes back into the morals and ethics of really the world, and more so with the American people there. All right, track 6 was Number. That was wait. I'm not sure what the hell I did. Oh, I switched those. Whatever. Whatever. Really, at Number. Okay, whatever. I screwed up those categories apparently. Because remember, it was supposed to be with the history. A Number should have been with the art. I guess, like, I don't know what the hell I was thinking there. Anyway, Number. To them, you're just expendable, as worthless as last week's news. They will try to take you for everything that you're worth, but there is no measurement to add up your worth. You're more than just a number. That, the whole song, that was another one that, like, as quick as I was writing it down, that just came, right off the top of my head there. I guess that there wasn't any real thought or writing process as far as that particular song lyric went. But that was inspired by my time with an engineering firm when I lived in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, and I've seen that at quite a few places, but that place in particular, they just seem to really. I learned a lot of valuable lessons working there. I mean, I'll give them credit for that, but it just seemed like, especially with the oil and gas industry that was coming in, like people started caring less and less about the human side of things, and they just all they saw was the bottom line. They just saw the fact that they're just numbers. So this was like a third person kind of point of view, with writing back, somebody looking from the outside. Maybe this is what they would have saw of me, which I finally saw, and then I literally just stopped showing up for work, I guess, on for that job. And that was the end of that. So it was mutual mutual agreement there, I guess. I'll leave it at that. But yeah, that I don't think there's nothing else to really add on that. It's just a fact. I mean, like I said, it's pretty straightforward lyrics. Just being taken for granted. It sucks. So that song's dedicated for anybody that's felt that way, which I'm sure everyone has felt that way at some point. Like I said, remember and number should have been switched, but oh well, too late for that right now. But remember that, there we go. It's a dozen years ago today was another day which will live in infamy. They told us not to forget, but what is it we are to remember? Will we ever really know what happened on that tragic day? But what is it we are to remember? That whole song was, I wrote that. I think I wrote that on September 11th of this past year. So that the whole song that's based off of the September 11th attacks in 2001, and the facts that it seems like there came a lot of information came to light that maybe wasn't relayed to the masses like they could have been, or should have been. Really, is the word. They should have. But yeah, there's a lot of controversy and conspiracy theories over why it happened, who did it, and all of that, and the fact that there was structural and architectural engineers that were dedicated to researching the actual detonation of, not detonation, but the actual destruction of both the towers, and the fact that there was like building number 7, and there's a couple other, like that wasn't even close to these other, I guess, the main 2 towers, and that building is still collapsed. Like one of the main conspiracy theories, I guess, was the fact that they were like demolitions. They weren't just. It wasn't just the heat from the engine fuel that had caused these buildings to collapse. So I mean, as tragic as it was, like, there's a lot of things that I guess still remain unanswered as far as what actually happened on that day, that are still to be that may never be answered, unfortunately. So that's remember. That was I wrote a pretty. The intro was kind of gloomy, I guess, with like the slow. Anyway, I was really happy with how that intro came out. In particular, with this album, with this EP here. Track 8 was anonymous. You said it wasn't you, and it sure as hell wasn't me. So it must have been a combination, an unfun explanation as to why you did what you did to me. You don't deserve me to speak your name. You shall remain anonymous. That I promised myself I would never write. Well, I didn't promise promise myself. I've just never been one to write love letters. Maybe that's because I've never even been in love. I don't even fucking know. But anyhow, anonymous. This was a jab at one of my ex girlfriends. I guess you could call her my college sweetheart. I dated her through all college, and I don't even know how long. I think we dated for it's close to 2.5 years, I guess. Anyhow, it wasn't. This song is not so much like what happened during a relationship. That was whatever. I was 19 at the time, going on. I guess I was 20 by the end of that one, and I'm 25 now. So there's clearly been other relationships. There's been other relationships since then, but none that ended the way this one did. It's not even the ending. It's just what this girl did after we had broken up. Even like 2 years later, some of the messages I received online just really degrading with me. This is just a jab at her. Just the fact that she's gonna know I'm talking about it, but the fact that I'm not mentioning her name, I think that might really set home as to how much she really ever meant to me. The fact that I'm not even saying who she is. So, one thing to point out in my song names, some like irony is a big part of my life. I don't know. I've always admired ironic situations. I've always found humor in them. So with this, people might automatically think of like the Hacker Group or whatever. But that is not the case at all. That is not what this song is about. So that's probably gonna be another recurring theme in my songs. All right, well that covers there's nothing else I want to add on that. On any of these. Yeah, so that covers the Eight Children's EP number 2, as far as the song meanings and the lyrics. So these are real fresh. Like I said, I just wrote these literally. New Year's Day. Well, New Year's night, I guess. Whatever. All right. These yes. Okay. These I actually had the right categories at the end. No need to switch any of these. Whatever. I can't believe I did that. Jesus. All right. So these are going on to the same category, so I'm not going to go over those again. But the first song is called Cure. All right. It's been hard going through life knowing what I am is what so many will never be able to understand. I had that written wrong here. Because the only cure for this disorder of mine is found from within my own mind. Excuse me. Drinking some Johnny Walker Red Label here, so that's where all these hiccups and shit are from, apparently. But that going on with this the depersonalization disorder, which I've had for like I said, 10 years now. So that's what this whole song is about. Which really, from everything I've read, all the research I've done, the 2 books I've read so far on this disorder, there literally is no cure for it. It's almost like it'd be like having a cure for panic attacks. It's something that's triggered from your own mind. The main thing I could compare, like as far as like symptoms with this disorder with DPD, is it's a lot like, from what I understand, it's a lot like ADD, as far as like me not being able to focus at all. Like when this disorder is like kicked in high gear, like forget it. Like I might as well not even be in the room. And a lot of it's like bipolar, like something. I don't know. I can be having a great day and literally not. I don't even know like what trick. It's just, I don't know. It's difficult to explain, but I don't want to make it sound like the littlest thing set it off, but it's just like sometimes for unknown reasons, like I just get either depressed or just like really pissed off and getting a really weird and almost like scary state of mind to the point where I make sure like I'm not around people when this is going on, and which I found it's usually at night when I get in this really weird mode. Yeah. So like I said, it's gotten better. I found ways to cope with it, but it still really sucks. It really does. And I guess I wrote this song hoping that one day I'd be able to find a cure for my own mind. I guess, and literally being able to let go from all this. But one of the main things that worries me about this is having this disorder is the fact that like, because there's been times in college, I think maybe just because I was so busy where I really didn't suffer. It didn't bother me at all. Like I didn't, it was almost like a moment of clarity that came over me, like where I could even talk freely about it and not feel weirded out. Like, but I don't know. Hopefully, hopefully I find a way to get over that someday. I hope. Anyway, on to track 2, which is Curtain. This is one of the first attempts at really using analogies, I guess, being more open-minded as far as my writing goes. Here we go. I've lost track of the yellow brick road, and now how will I find? Yeah, Jesus. I'm gonna start over. I've lost track of the yellow brick road now. Now how will I get to where it is that I'm going if I don't know where I am? I wasn't going to ask for the world. I'm only seeking the truth from the man behind the curtain. And with this being with the category of science, this track obviously is using the analogy of the Wizard of Oz and the Yellow Brick Road, and being able to find the man behind the curtain that's controlling everything, which in this case is God. So that's kind of my play on the universe as far as like the Yellow Brick Road being like your each person's individual path on their life. And this is me going through my my patch, just trying to find the answers. Basically, if this, figuratively, if God was this man, literally a man behind the curtain, what would you ask him, and how would you find out what the truth is? Would he just be the man behind the curtain, pulling the strings, or what's really going on? So that's the curtain. Number 3 is memories, and this is with religion. Deja vu all over again. How can a foreign place seem so familiar? Is it just a coincidence, or is there something more? Could it be these moments are early memories from a past life, as I was laying out the life I lead now? And jeez, I forgot I wrote that one for this. I know I was just talking about Fruition on EP2, which this is kind of not a continuation, I guess, but like it's another attempt. Not another attempt. What am I talking about? It's another play, another expansion, I guess, on Fruition. There we go. As far as like the actual reincarnation, like memories, like is that really what deja vu is? Are you remembering like before you ended your new life? Are these, and you're writing out like what you want to accomplish in your next life, like these goals? Is that really what deja vu is? Are you really remembering what what the soul, or whatever you want to call it, your eternal being of you set out for yourself to do in the physical world of your next life? Are you really remembering that in the life that you're leading now? So that's what memories is. Fundamental. Yes. Okay. Having the basics in life It's so fundamental, yet it's often overlooked. Materialism at its finest. Is this now what it means to be wealthy? While shifting, while sifting through your, I just caught another error. Whatever. While sifting through your pile of gold, I found nothing irreplaceable, because maybe that's been gone since long ago. This yeah, wait a minute. Yes, okay. That makes I've seen if the category made sense for this track, and it does. This is just playing on the psychology of ethics and morality again. And really how one man's trash is not another man's treasure. Like in this case, the opposite, I should say. In this case, one man's treasure could be seen as somebody's. Yeah, it's just the opposite. Yeah, in this case, one man's treasure could just be seen as somebody's trash, to somebody else. Just because your room is filled with, I don't know, with tons of shit that you can't take with you anyway after you're dead and gone. What is the point? Like, if you had a fire and your house burned down, God forbid, what would you really be left with? Like, what would you have if everything that you put your life's work into, I don't know, this pile of gold? Just say literally you have a pile of gold sitting there. Like, what would that be worth then? What would that be worth? Assuming you don't have, I don't know, a way to smelt it back down into gold again. I don't know. But, yeah. So that's fundamental. That's just forgetting everything that's fundamental, which is, spending time with your loved ones, your health, having a roof over your head, all of that. But beyond that, like, what else do you really need? That's really what I'm trying to say here with this song, Fundamental. Vote. This goes, I guess, in line again with like every conflict the U.S. has been involved in particular. All right. For as long as the grass has been a beautiful green and the skies their endless blue, corruption has filled the air in between, polluting the world we live in. The same man for whom you stood in line to cast your vote for may be the same to cast your loved one far, far away. And this one is pretty straightforward. That's just saying, the person you've just voted for, on the ballot at your local, even your local election level, could be eventually the same man to vote to send your son or daughter overseas to fight a war that we don't even need to be involved in, just because we're trying to get more oil or whatever the case may be. So that's vote. There's not much else, I guess, to really add on that. Yeah, I'm just trying to paint like a beautiful picture in the first lines, and then just showing, I'm just picturing like smog, like being corruption in this case, just polluting everything in between the beautiful grass and the beautiful skies that are in this big blue and green ball of life called Earth. All right, Shooter. This might be the heaviest song on this particular album. This one in potential are gonna be the two heaviest, along with Occupation. It reads, Occupation will read kind of like as a love song, but it's not. It's gonna be not. I'm not like looking to have like death metal shit on this record because I'm still playing my acoustic electric. But yeah. Anyway, I'm doing pretty good on time here too. I was a little bit worried I was taking a little bit longer than I was, I guess, anticipating originally. But anyway, Shooter, here we go. Never knowing the ones who gave you life, taken in at birth, moving from one to the next. Uncertainty is the only constant in your life, followed by neglect and abuse. They ignored every cry you ever made for help. is it really any surprise that you ended up the shooter? And that shooter, with the anniversary of like the Sandy Hook shooting and stuff like that, just took place not too long ago. And this is like was the inspiration for this, along with like Columbine and all the other all the other major shootings in the U.S. recently. Mass shootings, I should say. And this is just talking about like the first. This is kind of like just the story of someone who starts out in the adoption program and just goes from one foster parent to the next. Maybe they're being abused by their actual foster parent, or by kids at school because they don't even know where they came from. They're mutts basically, without a home, without knowing who the hell they are, who they're supposed to be, maybe even. But that's I guess like in a way society can be to blame for them ending up as troubled as maybe some of these foster kids that do end up being, because of that, because of the lack of. I'm not going to get into it too much, but just the way the system is set up as far as the care and maybe the psychological efforts, the lack of, I should say, for anybody in the foster system. And I don't even know. I should have looked up stats. It would have been good to know some stats to see how many like serial killers or whatever were tied to being like foster children. But I'm sure it's more than the typical kid. Potential, like I said, these last three. This is probably gonna be a theme on all albums to come. They'll either be like they'll be the most different probably. That's just. For me, like, I don't know, on most albums I listen to, like, it seems like once you get to past, like, the first, 5 or 6 songs, they start to kind of tail off, as far as, like, maybe the quality of the songs. At least that's maybe not the case on the music I listen to, for, like, some of the underground metal and stuff I listen to, but that was certainly the case on a lot of different rock albums were like could be found in the mainstream, I guess. And nothing against the mainstream. I mean, I still love bands like Tool, Chevelle, Skindred, and hell, a lot of the bands that were influences were on this that are gonna be influences and have been influences so far in the mainstream. But I guess when I say mainstream, I'm talking about pop and some of these rock bands I used to listen to. But anyway. Back on point here. Potential. You could have had a life you always dreamed of, but everyone was always out to get you. Excuse me. But how could that be when you were even hiding from yourself? Instead of counting the bars in front of you, why don't you try counting the opportunities that you ran from, trying to prove your potential? This, I don't know, I might get some shit for this one. This is a pretty personal song for me. This is about someone in my family that is currently in prison right now, which it's their second time there, and it's been for petty shit, and they shouldn't even be there in the first place. So it's I hope the best for this person and my family, but I don't know if they'll ever be able to reach their full potential. And hopefully they hear this. Hopefully they get a wake up call, and hopefully I can be a part of that wake up call here with this track. So that's potential. Occupation. This has literally been about not even being friend zone, but just being like pulled along from different female friends that I clearly I wanted more. They showed that they were also wanting more as far as like actually being in a relationship. But it seemed, I don't know, like everything. Shit, there's at least 10 different girls in probably in the last 4 years that I thought for sure I'd be end up dating them, but they either found someone else or even had somebody else that I didn't even fucking know about, or I don't know, or they just didn't realize how good of a nice guy I was, and I don't know. I don't know what it was. They clearly, I don't know. It's their loss. That's how I'm looking at this. But occupation. The occupation of my heart is underway. You broke through the gate long ago. With no more defense tactics in place, it looks like I am yours for the taking. But before I knew what happened, you must have taken everything you needed and were once again on your way. So this is another like analogy track that I laid out. I'm just picturing myself being in almost like with the Trojan War, like, you know, they broke through the gate. I didn't, you know, I let them in. I was flattered the fact that they, you know, I wanted them to come in. I let them come in. They broke through, even, you know, that, and then once they came in and sacked everything, they just fucking left, and I was no longer needed. They took everything that they needed, and they went on their merry way again. So that's occupation. Like I said, this Potential and Shooter they're gonna be the heaviest songs on this album. Which this is gonna be the black EP of the 3 trilogies. First it was white, gray, and now black. So in just the overall tone for lyrics, I felt were even darker on this album, which is really what I was going for. And that will be another theme that will be carried through with the full albums as well. Like I said, with having Mr. White, Mr. Gray, Mr. Black, kind of being the main characters along with JP on with these different illustrated novels, the novels themselves, and with these albums. I should point out, it's literally taken me, probably. Well, yeah, it's taken me. Wow, when the hell? Yeah, it's taken me a little over a year now to finally get these schedules in line. Like for a while, like I for some reason I was planning to have a release literally every 4 months. There's no way in how that could have happened for these full releases that I was gonna do. But a year later, and I'm pretty happy, very happy where my direction is going creatively. Like it felt like a weight was off my shoulder. Once I was able to pinpoint like where I'm going